All right, so today we are into talking about how the Enlightenment spreads. In the textbook, this is chapter 22, section 3. One of the things I like to do as an anticipatory set to get my students focused on what we're going to learn about is just simply ask, hey, in today's world, how do we find out about new ideas, new inventions? And some of the common answers will be, well, you've got the internet, you've got newspaper, you have smartphones, television, of course, radio. Back in these times, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, people got their information from books that were printed off of the printing press, pamphlets, and also there was something going on called salons. And we're going to take a look at what those were throughout today's lecture, and we'll take an insight into what they may have been. So to introduce this, the spread of ideas, how the Enlightenment spreads, a couple of key ways, like I just mentioned, through books, magazines, but also the good word. That good word or word of mouth was a big part of this. The center of the Enlightenment was really Paris, France. And in this city, there were a lot of what we call salons. And usually these salons were run by wealthy women in Paris. They would host events where philosophers, writers, artists, scientists, and other great thinkers would meet and discuss and debate ideas. This is the most famous salon. It was by Marie-Therese Joffrin, or Madame Joffrin. And this is what it basically looked like. This would be a group of people that would come, scientists, artists, philosophers, and they would just kind of debate and discuss some of the key ideas or topics of the times. One of the things that comes out of this is Denis Diderot's Encyclopedia, the first true encyclopedia of 1751. Denis Diderot was or Diderot, some people will say, is a philosophe that created a large set of books to which many leading scholars of Europe contributed articles and essays. In section 2, we talked about the women's role in the Enlightenment being rather minuscule, aside from a few female writers. But behind the scenes, wealthy females were running these salons. They were really helping to fund projects of some of the great thinkers of the time. Marie-Therese Joffrin is a female that actually funded the Diderot Encyclopedia project. The reaction to the encyclopedia is pretty mixed. The French government and the Catholic Church were really irate over the Enlightenment ideas that were expressed in the encyclopedia. They were worried about skepticism. Once again, that's a big word that's been coming in the last few sections. Salons and the encyclopedia played a critical role in spreading Enlightenment ideas to educate people throughout Europe. Ideas also spread through newspaper, pamphlets, and other even political songs that they had made. Because of the printing press, middle-class people who could afford books became very educated. Roman numeral 3 talks about some of the new artistic styles that emerged, such as Baroque and neoclassical. Baroque is really a very ornate, kind of a flashy design, trying to draw attention. They would use this in churches to make them look more grand. Neoclassical style borrows from the old school Roman and Greek stone columns and pillars and realism, things of that nature. Talk about the changes in music and literature. Before the Enlightenment, you have composers utilizing organ and choral music, like Johann Sebastian Bach, who was from Germany, George Friedrich Handel, an English composer. During the Enlightenment, though, a new form of music called classical began to emerge. And there were 3 famous composers, all from Vienna, Austria: Franz Joseph Haydn, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and Ludwig van Beethoven. Novels, lengthy works of fiction, also became the form of entertainment that were written in everyday language, or the vernacular. Many people that could now read enjoyed, of course, taking part in novels. Now, we'll also talk about a switch in the way that monarchs ruled, and these were known as Enlightened Despots. These are absolute rulers that sort of started to embrace some of the Enlightenment ideals. However, in essence, they really didn't want to relinquish any of their true power. 2 examples of this in Europe are Frederick II of Prussia and Joseph II of Austria. Frederick II, you can see he was ruler of Prussia from 1740 to 1786. He made a lot of changes in Prussia. For example, allowed for religious tolerance, reduced censorship, improved education, and reformed the justice system. He also abolished torture, going back to the Enlightenment thinker Cesare Bonassare Beccaria. And one thing he did not do was end serfdom in Prussia. Serfdom, or the feudalistic system, sort of remained prominent in Central Europe for much longer. He did call himself the first servant of the state, so he tries to put himself below the overall state. Then you also have Joseph II. He ruled Austria from 1780 to 1790. He's the son of Maria Theresa, and he introduced the freedom of press in Austria, also allowed for religious tolerance, and did abolish serfdom, ordering that peasants be now paid cash for their work. This decision, though, was reversed shortly after his death by the nobles, who did not want to actually pay their serfs to work. Thank you.